TIFU by pretending to be gay. So my coworker, call him Jeff, is asexual, but his parents kept trying to get him a girlfriend. When he kept rejecting them, his parents eventually asked if he was gay. He decided to pretend he was, and said he was already seeing a coworker, and then asked me to pretend to be with him, even going so far as to offer money. I don't really know enough people to care about my reputation, and could think of worse ways to earn money, so I agreed. His parents wanted to meet me. The original plan was to meet his family and leave a very bad first impression, so he would have reason to not bring me around them. Well, I got there, and it turns out his family is about the most ducking awesome family I've ever met. I expected everybody to either tiptoe around the gay thing, or be very overzealous about supporting it. Either way I would overreact, and make an ass out of myself. Turns out they treated me just like they would anybody else, so I couldn't do that. Then his twin sister, call her Jenny, comes out and decides to try to make me uncomfortable by sitting on my lap. I didn't mind, and asking questions that most would consider inappropriate. I kind of fell in love with her that night. Well, I ended up leaving a good impression, and was invited to dinner the next night to meet his other sister and her husband. That dinner went great as well, so I ended up just saying duck it, I'll come over whenever they invite me, and just hope we don't slip up. Things went pretty well over next few months. I got along with everybody and kept telling myself I'd ask Jenny out after we told them the truth. Well, Jeff ended up getting an apartment and moving out of his parents' house. He needed a roommate and I volunteered. I wanted to move out of my parents' house anyway. One night I get back from work to find a ducking candlelit dinner waiting for me. Turns out he really was gay and had a crush on me, and decided the best way to seduce me would be an elaborate scheme to trick me into moving in with him. Needless to say, I rejected him, and he was actually surprised when I did. So he calls his mom crying and said I cheated on him. His family hates me now, especially Jenny. They won't believe a word out of my mouth because it's his word against mine. So now I live, signed a 1-year lease, and work with a guy who thinks he's in love with me. I did learn a valuable lesson though. If you are going to live a lie, record some kind of proof that it's a lie. TLDR, pretended to be gay to help friend get parents off his back. Find out he wasn't pretending. Now I live with a gay guy who thinks he's in love with me. Update, convinced Jenny to let me explain the situation from my point of view. She believes me, but said she won't side against her twin, even if he's in the wrong. Now my only hope is to convince him to tell the truth. Update 2, just went through more drama in an hour than I have in the last 5 years. Basically, after Jenny left, she went home and confronted Jeff. He slept at their house. They then invited me to come clear the air. I told them the same thing I told Jenny. Then Jeff told his side of the story, but spun it just enough to convince them that he didn't think we were pretending, and that I led him on. He also left in the part about me cheating. He said he caught me with a girl, and that's what sparked this whole mess. Since I can't disprove anything he said, they now believe that I'm a sack of shit that likes to lead on gay men for fun while I'm out sleeping around. I've only been with one girl. And to solve the wound just a little bit more, Jenny called me a creep for letting her sit on my lap. Apparently it was only cute when I was gay. The only person who even questioned Jeff's lying ass is his older sister, and she said the same thing Jenny did. I won't side against my family, even if they are wrong. So I just lost what was basically my second family, and I'm either stuck living with Captain Dipshit, or stuck with an apartment I can't afford alone. Update 3. So things just went from a bad situation to a disastrous one. My boss just called me on my day off to tell me Jeff asked to be put on a different schedule than me. Apparently Jeff told him I threatened to kick the shit out of him, and I ducked up more royally than I've ever ducked up before. I said I never said anything like that, and to tell Jeff to prove it, and now I've got to go in later to discuss this situation, and he told me I was probably going to be suspended until further notice. That Methodica attacked my job. This means war. Update 4. Well, I called my landlord and am meeting him on his lunch break today. Also, somebody I know offered to get me some legal counsel, so I've got a meeting later today to discuss my options. Update 5. I just got a call from the cowwalker that knew a bit about it. He got together a group of our cowwalkers and they pulled Jeff aside and convinced him to admit he was lying to the manager so the job part might be resolved. Now we just need to come to an understanding about the apartment. I'm willing to live with him for the remainder of the lease if he's willing to sign a waiver or something stating that this is over. I'm not going to try to fix things with his family. You guys have rightfully pointed out that it isn't worth it. I'll probably end up being a hermit after this mess. Update 6. Just got a confirmation that he came clean to our manager. He's being sent home early and we both have to come back later tonight to resolve this situation. He didn't give me any information about the pending suspension, but I'm optimistic. When he gets here I'm going to sit down with him and apologize for everything I've done to hurt him, real or imagined, and then hopefully we can settle this like civilized people. Then after I find someone to take over the lease I'm going to go on my merry way and hope for the best. Update 7. So Jeff came home and we had a fairly short but very concise discussion. He agreed to put this whole thing behind him on the condition that I'll let him continue the lie with his family. I agreed to apologize to his family from the bottom of my heart for cheating on him and admit that I was leading him on. In return he agreed to make a formal confession video admitting that we were both at fault, admitting the cheating and leading on altogether, and he would let it die here and now. We sealed the deal by punching each other, and unknown to him, I recorded the whole conversation on my laptop. I won't do anything with said recording unless he forces my hand. Thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Your comments have helped me think through this mess and not react in a physical manner. This is mostly likely my last update, unless something drastic happens with the landlord, lawyer or workplace. Also he said he'd try to make Jenny apologize for calling me a creep. Even he agrees she can't get mad about something she initiated in the first place. And the movie rights go to whoever gets a script written up first, just as long as the actor portraying me is a handsome Methodica. Update 8. I'm sorry for updating so late, but I fell asleep after getting home and just woke up. I talked to our landlord and told him we had a falling out, and even though it's solved I wanted to know if it was possible to get out of the lease, if I could find somebody else willing to take it on. He said he'd be willing to let me draw up a sublet lease or something along those lines. My memory is fuzzy right now, so if I can find somebody willing to live with dipshit I'll be free. After that I talked to the lawyer. He said that it's illegal to record somebody without consent, so if I tried to use the recording I could face criminal charges. He advised I erase the recording. Furthermore he said I could file a lawsuit for slander and something about character, but I'd be open to a countersuit and Jeff has at least 5 people who would be willing to testify on his behalf. Then he told me a restraining order would be a terrible idea. It would be extremely obvious that I was only filing it either as retaliation or as a preemptive legal defense. So he advised me to avoid antagonizing Jeff in any way and hope he doesn't find out about the recording. After that I went to tell my own family what was happening and things didn't go well. My mother first said I was pretending to be gay the same way that guys say they were joking after being rejected. Then after I played the recording she admitted she'd rather have a gay son who's in denial than a son who would manipulate an entire family. So needless to say we aren't speaking at the moment. My siblings are refusing to take sides for the most part, so no help there either. After that me and Jeff met up at work for the meeting with our boss. We both got written up for unprofessional conduct and told this was first and only warning. Next time there is drama between us, we both get fired. And he's going to put Jeff on a later shift than me, so we don't have very much overlap in schedule. Next we went to his family's house. So I could make my apology. I decided to follow the advice of the people on here and didn't support his lie about leading him on or cheating, but I didn't directly deny them either, so I kept up my part of the deal. After my apology, I even managed a few tears. It wasn't exactly hard. They basically took turns berating me, but I took it and didn't argue or defend myself. After that I told them they'd probably never see or hear from me again and left. On my way out the sister's husband followed me out and loudly threatened to duck me up if he ever saw me again. But he sent me a text like 5 minutes apologizing and said he was just trying to earn some points with them by defending their honor and that he actually, secretly, was on my side. I basically just rolled my eyes and told him to duck off. I think that's pretty much it. I'm still shaking like a methodica, but at least the worst part is over. Update 9. Well, I got fired today. Our boss was watching through the security footage from the other day and saw the coworkers approach Jeff in a menacing manner, and he decided Jeff only dropped his complaint against me because they threatened him. He also suspended 2 of the guys involved and fired another. So I'm seriously considering just skipping town right about now. Final update. It's been a couple days since my last update, and I don't know how many people will even see this, but I'll do it anyway. I've decided to leave town. It's next to impossible to get a job here without connections, and I don't have many, and to make it worse, I was fired from my previous job. Not to mention I either hate or am hated by just about everybody here, and I could use some distance from my family. So I don't see much future in California for me. I'm going to tell my landlord the full story and show him the recording in hopes that he'll let me out of the lease. Even if he doesn't, I'm willing to risk taking a ding to my credit and Jeff's and just leave anyway. And Bark's friend of mine lives in Texas and told me he'd help me get started if I choose to move to his town. But I'm not eager to blindly trust somebody I barely know. That's what started this shut in the first place. So do you guys have any good advice for me? I'm leaning toward Texas because it would be nice to have somebody to help me get started, but if you guys have a better place, please share. A place with fairly low cost of living and plenty of job opportunities would be nice. Anywhere except Colorado or Minnesota. TLDR. Pretended to be gay to help friend. Found out he wasn't pretending. He was pissed that I turned him down, destroyed my relationships, and got me fired. I moved across the country